What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Uproar, and we are back with the newest chapter of One Piece, the full translated pages, and I am hyped to get into it. As we know from the spoilers video, this will deal with the main event, Luffy vs Kaido, where we'll get new Luffy powers, including a new god form, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy these One Piece videos and want to keep them coming, you know what to do. Channel the Pirate King within and smash that like button with no mercy. Remember, smashing is Pirate King energy and passing is scared Orochi energy, so choose wisely. If you haven't made this the video, you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future One Piece videos and updates, and now is not the time to be missing it. Lastly, while you wait for future One Piece videos to drop, feel free to check out my huge and growing One Piece playlist. That includes videos on all the Yonko, Warlords, Mythical Zones, and much more. Link to that is in the description. And now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. The cover of this Shonen Weekly is so epic. Luffy is shown with his fruit in the background. They are advertising this crazy revelation about his fruit, and it makes total sense. It's an amazing time to be a One Piece fan for sure. We're told there's a super climax right now with the Kaido fight, which is hilarious but makes sense. I didn't know there's such a thing as a super climax, but if it applies to anything, it does apply to this fight right here. The cover spread is fun, but not my favorite, just to keep things real. It's not a secret, I love the One Piece ladies, and I mostly love the color spreads for them, and here they're pretty much relegated to the background, with half of Robin's head being cut off by Chopper, but I am hyped about the 25th anniversary of One Piece nonetheless. This chapter is called Next Level, and as we discussed in the spoiler vid, it's hype. Luffy and Oda aren't satisfied with Luffy's so-called peak and new awakening and gear. No, we're going beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, with a new form, as the title suggests, and I am so psyched to actually see it. We are with Kaido and Luffy, and they are talking. They both thought Luffy was a goner, and Kaido says since Luffy was able to make his surroundings rubbery, it should be safe to say he awakened his paramecia fruit. But something feels off to him. Keep in mind, even though the five elders dropped that info, and we know about Luffy's true fruit, most people and main characters don't, and even Luffy doesn't as far as we know. By the way, I love how Luffy has pretty much turned the ground into a trampoline for his amusement. It's perfect. Kaido goes on to say that the transformation Luffy underwent is more typical of a zone fruit, and I wonder why say that now when he'd already shown he can transform with Gear 4 and stuff, but I guess this is such a big transformation even for Kaido that it's got him questioning things again. He takes Luffy into his dragon mouth and we see something not surprising but still awesome. A consistent trope is turning an opponent swallowing you into your advantage by attacking them from the inside. Here, Luffy does that by ballooning up his body, which must be very uncomfortable for Kaido. I don't think his body is supposed to stretch like that, and Luffy's cartoon powers may very well be keeping him from being torn apart right now. It's hard to say anything for sure with Luffy's ridiculous powers though. We get a hilarious interpretation of events by onlookers who assume Kaido has put on weight. And then it comes out Kaido is irritated, saying, "How are you doing this? Your body is meant to be rubbery, not mine." But if you paid close attention last chapter, we saw Kaido's eyes popping out of his head because of Luffy's attack, so we knew this could happen. Luffy is just taking it further this time, and in this chapter. He can clearly apply his Toon World powers to opponents as well, which is fun because it lets him do stuff he wouldn't usually be able to do to people without killing them. And as we see, it just leads to a lot of fun too. Luffy sees two bright lights, which are Kaido's eyes, and he puts his hands through them in order to grab Kaido's nose. Yes, you heard that sentence right. Oh my god, Oda must be having so much fun with this. Then, when he finally leaves Kaido's body, he even calls it Escape Rocket. You can really feel the fun Luffy's having, Oda's having, and that we're having too. Luffy is definitely a true joy boy. We then see it, Luffy's new godly giant form, which, as mentioned in the spoilers video, would probably go well with that giant straw hat in the government's possession that we saw. Luffy pumps himself so big that now it's like a human stepping on a garden snake despite Kaido's giant size. This is about as godly as we got in One Piece. We even have the lightning in the background usually associated with gods like Zeus, and the panel composition is great. We actually see Kaido's perspective as he's looking up at this larger-than-life Luffy dominating the panel. We feel how small Kaido must feel in this moment, and it's crazy because I bet he never expected to feel small in this giant dragon form that can accidentally take out entire regions of a country if he happens to get too drunk. Luffy then continues to embarrass embarrass Kaido using the Yonko as a jump rope. Oh my god, does it get more embarrassing? Is there a bigger flex? I seriously don't know of one. Luffy is so strong now, he's focused more on having fun rather than winning, and we still haven't seen any significant counterattack from Kaido up to this point since Luffy has awakened this new form. Finally, Kaido does deliver a head-on blast breath and Luffy looks like a burnt up character in a cartoon. And then he says that's the last straw, which I have no idea if it's a pun in the original Japanese, but I like it here in the English. Imagine this becomes a theory that Kaido will become the last straw, aka the last straw hat. That would be hilarious. We then see Luffy's cartoonish legs spinning around, you've definitely seen this in cartoons, and it changes his trajectory in midair, letting him pretty much run through the sky. It's very reminiscent of the sun god Nika silhouette. And if you think about it, it makes sense that a sun god could travel across the sky like the sun. Then we see such an epic attack from Kaido. This name is so epic, 3 world conquest Ragnaroku. The attack sends Luffy's giant head through the ceiling and it terrifies the confused people below. Luffy's Toon World range seems so strong that he even seems to be affecting other people unintentionally, as we see Kid, Law, Chopper, Nami, and Tama have their eyes pop out in cartoonish style. Kaido remarks Luffy's powers are like something out of a picture book, or maybe even a manga, as he's taken his hybrid form again. I really like the fact that Kaido is dishing some out and not just taking it. This is such an epic battle. After all this, Kaido still thinks Luffy can't win, and that he's at the end of his rope. Luffy says he's far from done, but he starts looking worse and worse. He loses his Super Saiyan form, and then in comedic fashion, even starts looking like an old melting man. He says he's beat, and Kaido wonders what he is. And we even see Kaido come down to a knee and pant. It's crazy to finally see Kaido like this. I mean, the panting could technically be referring to Luffy, but I'm guessing it's Kaido since he's the one in the panel with a pant speech bubble. Luffy admits he's about to croak and that this is taking a lot out of him. We knew this wouldn't last long since he did say last chapter he can fight for a bit longer. So this was never going to be a long-term thing. Kaido tells him he can rest easy and die. Tales will be told of how he and everyone else fought this war, but Luffy doesn't care. He says when you're dead, only your bones stick around, and then he laughs shi. And feel free to judge my shi laugh as much as you want in the comments. Finally, Yamato comments that it really is Luffy, but he was unrecognizable with his hair and clothes all white like that. So there's the answer for Luffy's official hair color. White in manga could always mean blonde as well, which would make sense for the sun god, but Luffy, it appears, has skipped Super Saiyan and gone Ultra Instinct already. If the translation is right, it's a fresh choice because Super Saiyan and Naruto's Kurama mode went with a more yellow/orange sunish color. White also symbolizes wisdom and enlightenment, so it goes well with Luffy's journey here. Although Momo says Luffy is fading, Luffy says we're not done yet. He says names Momo, Kiremon, Pedro, and Kaido is smiling, saying he's really gonna kill himself. Luffy begins quote-unquote recovering and entering the new form again. He says after all of this, do you really think something like death can scare me? So epic, such an epic moment, I love it so much. He's apparently doing this through his heartbeat, telling it to get loud again like the drums of liberation, but again, if using the form once led to that shrinking old man, I assume that the next crash will be even worse. But for now, it's all good. Luffy is in gear 5 once more, and Kaido is ready to attack. Luffy gets hit, but he becomes extremely rubbery, and his form just wraps around Kaido's weapon. Again, cartoony AF, but hilarious. Yamato is in disbelief, and he continues to run looking like Pinocchio the Hedgehog. Kaido hits him again, but Luffy bends the ground, in theory dampening the impact, and then he bounces up. He goes from flattened to normal, and begins extending and turning his arms like a helicopter. Kaido is at a loss, wondering what Luffy is, and what is this pure white transformation. Then we're given some huge details. Luffy is coated with armament and conqueror's haki, and he can influence anything around him with his ability. He fights with such freedom, so versatile. Kaido's never seen anything like it. So even though he's not coated in black, Luffy is coated with armament and conqueror's haki. That is cool information to get and good to know. Still, Kaido says there is no one in the world capable of taking him down. Big talk, and it makes sense if he truly is the strongest creature in the world. But even if he was, a new creature has awakened, and we all know it will surpass Kaido, except the raid will fail theorists. Luffy then truly shocks us by punching through Kaido's face, like through it. you usually say imagine punching through someone's face, but Luffy actually does it. Kaido falls and his face is intact, so it was a cartoon logic thing, but it must have hurt. Kaido is down and Luffy is getting pumped. He says he's having the time of his life, he's smiling, and that is the end of this chapter. And I absolutely loved it. It's taking some getting used to the Toon powers, but I am here for the ride and can't wait to see how they continue to work. It's also been very fun and a great time. Like, we are in this epic fight, but I'm also like laughing at every panel, which is awesome. A lot of these attacks would have killed Kaido if they actually happened, but with the cartoonish spin, it leaves us wondering how much they actually hurt Kaido. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments. Is it over, aka is it only a matter of time for Kaido to fall, or will he impress us with another power or attack? I'd say Oda showed him the respect he deserved, and I wouldn't mind it if the fight wrapped up next chapter, but with Oda you never know, and I'm completely fine with extending this fight as well. I mean, it has been epic. Luffy was MVP here, no doubt. If you did enjoy the review and want to keep them coming, you know what to do. Channel the Pirate King Within and smash that like button with no mercy. Just try like smashing it so hard like your finger goes through your phone, you know what I mean? Toon World powers. Remember, smashing that like button is Pirate King energy and passing is scared Orochi energy, so choose wisely. If you haven't, make this video right here, this chapter review, make it the video you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future One Piece videos and updates. And now is not the time to be missing anything One Piece related. Lastly, while you wait for the future One Piece videos to drop, feel free to check out my big and growing One Piece playlist that includes videos on all the Yonko, Warlords, Mythical Zones, the most hype Devil Fruit subcategory in my opinion, and much more. Link to that is in the description. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!